Good evening. I'm Camden Cohn, and this is our Sports Ticker. Earlier today, Nebraska football head coach Matt Rhule spoke to the media about a slew of different topics at Big Ten Football Media Days. One of the topics that he addressed was what advice he wished he would have taken last season.
About being at Nebraska, you do get a lot of advice. I mean, Coach Osborne's there all the time to help. Coach Solich is there to help. Coach Osborne tried to warn me about the weather. He tried to warn me about the wind, and I heard it, but I didn't. It was until it was like 30 miles an hour in my face that I was like, oh, Coach Osborne wasn't lying. I think the biggest thing I regret from last year was when you're in pro football, it's kind of quiet. And there aren't bands and things like that. The crowd isn't. And we started our first two games last year on the road in hostile environments. Minnesota, they did a great job. They had a gold out for their first game. And so just getting readjusted to the crowd noise and the passion of the fans in the Big Ten, the atmospheres we're going to have to go into, we have to be better on the road. And so I wish I would have taken that. I would have taken that to heart and gotten that advice.
More from Coach Rhule later on in the show. The Nebraska women's tennis team added another addition today as Emma Rossetto joins the squad from VCU. Rossetto will have 3 years of eligibility remaining and was named A10 Performer of the Week on 2 occasions and tallied 14 wins in singles and doubles. And finally, some Major League Baseball scores that are final from earlier today. The Pirates beat the Cardinals 5-0. The Brewers defeated the Cubs 3-2. The Twins bested the Phillies 5-4. The Reds beat the Braves 9-4. The Rockies defeated the Red Sox 20-7. The Astros beat the Athletics 8-1. And the Angels beat the Mariners 2-1. Hour 1 of Sports Nightly is up next, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Heinrich going to step in back, little G belly action. There's a man wide open. It's Jalen Lloyd. The throw, he makes a catch. 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Nebraska.
Nebraska's serving specialist Kennedy sends it over Vasquez Gomez. Perfect pass, set it up. Fairbanks diving, take Laney Choboy. Bumps it left Nebraska. Harper and nearly drops. Free ball back. Oh, a block back by Becca, and that nearly drops. And a free ball finally over, block back by Becker, and it does. Becca Alec, she's putting on a blocking clinic. They can't get it over.
Bryce Williams puts his head down, cut off by good defense by Mbako. Now up top it comes to Mast. Mast dribbles once, gives it back to Williams, shoots a 3 on the way. Got it again! Another 3. Williams on fire.
Yeah, Shelley, who has electrified this crowd. She'll take a 28-footer. You betcha! Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? She ends the first quarter in triple style.
Ball's and a strike here on Gabe Swanson, the pitch. Hit pretty well towards left center field. Going back on it is Graves. Graves at the wall, and it's gone again! Swanson's gone deep again! Gabe with his second solo shot of the game.
Billy swings and crushes this one to the moon. Left center and gone. No doubt on that one. 3-1 Nebraska.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Well, it was Huskers Day in Indianapolis today, day 2 of the Big Ten Media Days. And Nebraska was one of the 6 teams represented there today. Matt Rhule with players Isaac Gifford, Ty Robinson, Ben Scott. They did the whole car wash, appearing on BTN, setting up in front of reporters, probably made their way through rooms set up by CBS, NBC, the Big Ten Network, and Fox, all the television partners. It's an exhausting day for those players, and they're talked out by the time they're done. I'm sure they're on their way back to Lincoln right now, but Nebraska was 1 of 6, and I thought did a really good job. And, Jess, I was encouraged just by watching the BTN coverage about how many positive things the BTN people were saying about Nebraska. They really are kind of with us in a lot of ways, thinking that Nebraska's on the cusp of a breakout season here this fall.
Yeah, well, I think that's what happens when you've got a guy like Matt Rhule who has proven that he can turn things around. And, I know that a lot of people were noting, even though they're three completely different places, but a lot of noting the big jumps that the programs took under Matt Rhule, both at Temple, at Baylor, going into year number 2. You have a defensive coordinator in Tony White who returns a lot of key starters coming back. You've got a veteran offensive line, and then you have a top quarterback recruit coming in. And so I think all of that is what adds up to expectations rising, and not just here at Nebraska, but across the country. If you cover college football and you start diving into this team, yeah, absolutely, those expectations are going to be there. And I think a lot of those guys do their homework and know that, hey, there's a lot of positive things happening here at Nebraska that certainly could bode for a much improved season.
Some of the newsworthy items out of it from the Husker standpoint today. One kind of caught me a little off guard. Carter Nelson, the Mr. Do-Everything from northern Nebraska, highly coveted, thought he would be a tight end, but Nebraska's going to start him out at the wide receiver room. He's been playing 8-man football, and so to make the jump from that to 11-man football, maybe they thought he hasn't done enough blocking in his high school days. So maybe eventually he goes to tight end, but that did come out today from Coach Rhule that Carter, who didn't get here until June, he went ahead and competed in high school track in the spring and won a couple of state titles up in Omaha at the state track and field meet. So he's going to start in the wide receiver room, which we heard from Garrett McGuire a couple of weeks ago. That is a stocked room as it is. Carter certainly is a highly thought of young man, but be interesting to see how he adapts to that. So that was a bit of a surprise to me. Ron Brown, we talked about how now analysts can actually get on the field and do some work. They're going to put Ron Brown and with some fullbacks and special teams. I think that will make some Husker fans happy because they love Coach Brown, and they're going to put him to work and utilize his long, illustrious coaching career with those two spots. And also Bly Hill, who we unfortunately reported on in the spring game getting hurt, won't be ready when camp opens next week. But just they're encouraged that maybe by mid-camp that Bly Hill can be out there with his teammates and running around the practice field. So those were a couple of the big newsworthy things from Matt Rhule today. And great news, I think, on Bly that he might be ready to go for week 1.
Yeah, absolutely. They were really loving the things that he was doing in the spring, and it seemed to be all but he had locked up the opposite corner spot of Tommy Hill, and was doing so many good things. So that's good news, and hopefully too that they've got some options there that they don't have to rush him back, kind of what they did with Deshaun Singleton. But hey, let's make sure that he's back healthy and get some guys that can back him up. But that's great news. That's one of the. You saw the injury and didn't know how bad it was, but I saw him when we were doing the interviews internally moving around. He looked like he's moving around pretty good, and boy, that's you talk about a guy that you want to come off the bus first and just looks good in the pads and has that build of an elite defender. He is one of those guys. There's absolutely no doubt about it.
Yeah, and so those were a couple of little bit of tidbits today. Demetrius Bell is out for the year. Coach had said that in his press conference back in June when he met with the media before kind of their summer break. But this was the first chance to hear from Matt Rhule since that press conference in late June. And as we know, things happen around Husker football. There's always things. He did not expound on Evan Cooper's departure, just said that he misses Coop, was very close to Coop, but really excited about John Butler. In fact, we have a clip about that coming up here in a little bit that we'll hear from the coach. We have been talking for a couple of days about the conference commissioners getting together and talking about roster sizes and maybe limiting it to 105. Well, Ross Dellinger today did put out the tweet that on Tuesday, commissioners did finalize limits that will be filed Friday in the settlement case that's in front of Congress right now. Football roster will be limited to 105 starting in 2025. Men's basketball, women's basketball will be at 15. The women have been at 15. The men have been at 13, so the men actually pick up a couple of scholarships there. Baseball and softball are the two biggest leaps, with baseball going from 11.7 to 34. Now, I still think the Big Ten has to weigh in on this, and each school, I think, could opt out. I don't know that this guarantees that baseball is going to have 34 scholarships. Softball is getting bumped to 25. We'll have to hear Troy Dannon's take on all of this. And volleyball gets bumped all the way up to 18 scholarships. So a lot of the sports go up. Football goes down. Huskers right now in that 140 range. They'll have 12 months to reduce that down, but Matt Rhule was asked about it on the side sessions today, and he goes, I'm going to wait for all the details to come out, but obviously I'm not happy about this. We have such a proud walk-on program here at Nebraska that if I got to go tell 30 guys, sorry, you can't be a part of the program anymore, he goes, I don't like that. But Jess, we've been kind of sounding the alarm on this for a couple of days, and it looks like we're headed to 105 for the sport of football.
Yeah, it just seemed inevitable when you start hearing all the news about and the stipulations of this settlement case and making things, okay, if we're going to pay these players, how can we make it equal? Searles and I did a deep dive into that, a few weeks ago when the news was starting to unfold, and initially it was at 85, so at least it's back up to 105. I did see that it was probably not going to be enforced up until the season, so you can go through hopefully the spring and preseason and really give guys a chance. And then just unfortunate that maybe right there before fall camp or right before the start of the season, you got to tell some guys, hey, sorry, we can't have you. I don't know if that means you can still keep them around and let them work out, or if it's just, I don't know, because, that's been another thing that I know a lot of people have asked questions about, and even heard Mark Stoops bring this up in his media day appearance about, well, again, with the NFL, you can have signed free agents, you can move guys around all throughout the season. Well, what if there's I think Andy Harris in our chat texted us in or put it in the chat the other day about, well, what if you only carry 2 kickers and 2 kickers get hurt, then what happens? So I would assume there's got to be something like that kind of discussion happening. But yeah, just not the kind of news that you want to hear. We knew it was coming, but now that it seems to be, full speed ahead at moving towards that 105 number, not the kind of news you want to hear when you got a program like Nebraska who is built on that walk-on tradition.
And we're on the high side. I'm not sure we have the biggest roster in the Big Ten. We're close. I think it might be us or Ohio State. A lot of the schools probably are much closer to 105, and it's not going to be that big of a deal. It's not going to be a big ripple for them, but it is going to be here. Matt Rhule brought up this comparison today, kind of going along with what Andy said in the chat the other night. He goes, hey, Demetrius Bell, he's out for the year. We know he's not going to play all season. Does he count on our 105, or can we put him on some kind of injured list and take one of the 105 spots for somebody who's not hurt and out for the year? Those are great questions, and that's why I think Coach is kind of taking a slow approach. We got a lot of questions. Until we get some answers, he's not going to sound off on too much of that. But it is going to affect Nebraska in some way, and I'm anxious to see what it does to the ball bat sports and what Troy Dannon's thoughts on that, because if this is a lot more money, if you're going from in baseball 11.7 to 34, that's a lot more scholarship money you're having to try to generate for student athletes. And then what does that do to Title IX? I think that's going to throw that up into a flux.
There's still a lot to figure out. We keep hearing all these things coming out about, hey, this is what's going to happen, but I still think Title IX is one of the biggest questions going into this whole deal, and with the rev share and with the scholarship numbers, it's there's no question, because we've seen and heard that a lot of our upper judicial or legal people have said that Title IX is still going to absolutely play a factor into this. So yeah, I don't know how there still seems to be a lot of questions as we get some answers. It just seems to open up more questions, and it's crazy to think about that it's going to be here at the start of next season. I am sitting here wondering how we're going to get all these things figured out in a year, especially when a lot of people can't really agree on some of these things too, and with the different conferences and where people stand in that regard. And there are some programs that can't do some of these things, and so then what happens? So yeah, it's still just so much unknown and so much to figure out before we kick things off in a year from now.
I'm sure there are some programs that are singing joyous tunes tonight, like probably some MAC schools who probably don't have much more than 105 players on their roster, or Sun Belt Conference teams. They're going, great, this is going to level it out for us, and some guys are going to fall off of Ohio State's roster that we might be able to add to our 105 and make ourselves a better team. So you got to battle with some of the haves and the have-nots fighting through this little thing. But you're right, as slow as the wheels of change go in college sports, kind of hard to imagine that they can get this all implemented in 12 months' time. All right, here on the program tonight, Matt Rhule did meet in front of the big room today. We're going to play some clips of that. Damon Benning's going to join us in hour 2 from Indianapolis, give us his take on today and a lot of Husker football things. Nebraska went today along with Penn State, who I think has a real shot of being a college football playoff team this year. James Franklin, the knock on him in his first 10 years in Happy Valley is that he hasn't beat enough of the big boys. He wins all the kind of games he's supposed to, but he has a hard time beating the big boys. But he was there today. Michigan State with their new head coach, Jonathan Smith, who left Oregon State to take over Sparty. We don't play them this year, so I didn't focus on them a ton. Kirk Ferentz, the dean of coaches in the Big Ten from Iowa, was there today. And the two Southern California schools, USC and UCLA, a lot of love throwing Lincoln Riley's name away in the Big Ten coverage today. They really feel like the change in defensive coordinators is going to do wonders for USC. What this does, what they do for these big sessions is the coach gets a chance to go up and make an opening statement, and then they open it up for the big room for questions. Deshaun Foster, and I felt bad for Deshaun, former really good running back for UCLA, first-year head coach for the Bruins. He was the first guy out of the gate today, so he didn't get a chance to maybe stand in the back of the room and watch one of these other coaches go up first. So he climbs the podium today to give his opening statement. We're going to play it for you tonight, folks. This is kind of painful to listen to, but here was Deshaun Foster's opening statement today.
How you guys doing? I'm happy to be here. Glad to be a part of this great conference. Finally putting two great emblems together, UCLA and the Big Ten. We're a school that's won, 123 championships, so this fits us being right in this conference. Football-wise, we're just excited. You know, I'm sure you guys don't know too much about UCLA, but our football program, but we're in LA. It's us and USC. We I'm just basically excited, really. That's it. Any questions?
Oh, I can't believe you did that to him, Greg, again.
It's everywhere,
was
though.
Watching that live, and I had gotten up to get some water and thought, gosh, the audio's out. What happened? And during that long pause, but when he said, we're at UCLA, we're out in LA, us and USC, it just, so uncomfortable. I felt so bad for him, but he's a new head coach, and I don't feel like somebody didn't do their job in preparing him on what to do when he got up there on the podium for the first time.
No, that's exactly right. I think I put that on his communication staff, and I go, hey, just, say we're happy to be here, excited about Big Ten football, and open up for questions or talk about the players you brought with you today and why did you bring those 3 players. We'll contrast that with Matt Rhule's opening statement coming up here after the break, but rough start for Deshaun Foster today. His first 30 seconds were fine, and he could have cut it off right there and said, I'll open up for questions. What this brings up for me, though, and for a lot of Husker fans, is remembrance for a few years back when Scott Frost got up there. If Scott Frost had gotten to the stadium early, and so he had done some media scrums with a lot of our writers kind of off to the side, and then it was his turn to go up and make a statement, and they go, Scott, you want to do an opening statement? And he just goes, no, let's just go to questions. And obviously that was not great. It was a bad PR look. There was a chance for you to make a statement on national television, and Scott just goes, no, let's just go to questions. This was worse because this was much more cringeworthy than that. But for a lot of Husker fans, I'm sure they hearkened back to Coach Frost a few years ago, and he just got up there and said, yeah, let's just take questions. So we'll contrast that with Matt Rhule coming up here in the next segment. Husker fans, go check out the all-new Hy-Vee Perks program. Sign up for the totally free Hy-Vee Perks program and enjoy exclusive perks, pricing, on hundreds of items in-store and online. Score big savings today at Hy-Vee.com/perks. Hy-Vee is an official grocer partner of Husker Athletics and your one-stop shop for making your life easier, healthier, and happier. Go visit your local Hy-Vee today. We're back with comments from Matt Rhule from Today in Indy. We'll do that next.
Hi, I'm a baseball umpire. Now, my job can get pretty stressful. I have to keep my eyes open at all times, and if I don't make the right call, people boo me. So to relax, I visit a Nebraska lottery retailer like this one and buy some scratch tickets. It always calms me down. Hey, you cut in line.
I did not.
All right, you're out of here.
Hey, he didn't cut.
All right, you're out of here.
I feel better already.
The Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
Did I forget something?
No, just wanted to tell you I love you. Oh, don't forget to buckle up. Drive safe.
I will. Love you too.
Someone is counting on you to buckle up. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rhule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
For farmers, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. And at Valley, we feel the same, delivering game-changing technology and irrigation solutions that advance agricultural productivity, with the results to prove it. From our leading irrigation technology to expert advice, you can always rely on Valley to bring out the best in your farm. At Valley, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
It's the Make It Ford Summer Sales Event at your Midwest Ford dealers. Get 0% financing or up to $4,250 bonus cash on F-150. Amazing offers and a great selection of the best-selling trucks in America for 47 years. Ford F-Series. These are the deals you've been waiting for, so don't wait. Make it Ford. Make it yours. Make it now. Get 0% financing for 36 months or up to $4,250 bonus cash on a new Ford F-150. Now, only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Hi, I'm a baseball umpire. Now, my job can get pretty stressful. I have to keep my eyes open at all times, and if I don't make the right call, people boo me. So to relax, I visit a Nebraska lottery retailer like this one and buy some scratch tickets. It always calms me down. Hey, you cut in line.
I did not.
All right, you're out of here.
Hey, he didn't cut.
All right, you're out of here.
I feel better already.
The Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
Woodhouse Cadillac, where luxury meets performance. Discover the latest Cadillac models designed with cutting-edge technology and unbelievable design. Thanks to our streamlined buying process, you can start right now and explore financing options, view our large inventory, and even schedule a test drive, all from home. Come visit Woodhouse Cadillac in-store or online at woodhousecadillac.com and check out all of our current offers going on now.
Our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Akrs. They're the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you here on a Wednesday night. It was Husker Day in Indianapolis. They were one of the 6 teams there. By the way, Jess, did you see the picture of the giant duck floating down the Indianapolis River?
Yes, I did.
My goodness, that thing was huge.
Yes. Hey, it served its purpose. It was all over my social media feed, so it got a lot of attention.
Good for Oregon, and they go tomorrow. Oregon and Washington are two of the teams that go tomorrow, but that duck's been floating in that river for a couple of days, so they no pun intended. Yeah, I am totally intending this pun. No, they wanted to make a splash. They did. All right, so Matt.
You taking over the joke of the week?
Yeah, that was good, right? So Matt Rhule had his 15 minutes in front of the big room today. Here's his opening statement as he laid the groundwork for the upcoming year.
Good afternoon. Thank you on behalf of our team. I appreciate everyone covering us. Thank you to Commissioner Petiti and the entire Big Ten staff. Welcome to the 4 new teams, especially UCLA, who I spent some time as a student at. So UCLA is always near and dear to my heart. So welcome. Very, very proud to represent the University of Nebraska. We brought 3 of our best student athletes here, Ty Robinson, Isaac Gifford, and Ben Scott. If you'll just allow me for a second, we brought them. They're all college graduates, over 94 starts, working on their master's degrees. But if anything else, in a day and age in college football where everyone's always talking about who's transferring out, talking about recruiting, these guys and a couple others made the decision to come back and not go to the NFL but play another year. So I'm so grateful to them. I think what we'll see in this new era of college football is the teams that can stay together and have veteran staffs, veteran teams, are going to be really good. And I think they've given us a chance to have a really good team this year. So grateful to them. It's been an exciting time for us. It's a great time to be a Husker. Troy Dannon coming in and taking over, I think, has really brought a positive energy to the athletic department. 5 Big Ten championships this year in the athletic department, multiple athletes representing us in the Olympics. Finished 22nd in the all sports standings, and so now it's our time to do our part. We think we have a really good team, and we think that we're a team that people are going to have to deal with this year. And I've liked the way that they've worked. We finished the semester with a 3.241 cumulative GPA, the highest in school history. The guys are getting it done in the weight room. They're getting it done in the classroom. Now we've got to get it done on Saturdays. So with that, I'll take your questions.
Look, I don't even think this is a biased statement, but there's no question who's the best speaker in the group of Big Ten coaches. Like, there's no question in my mind from yesterday to today, and I'll go ahead and give it to him tomorrow. But Matt Rhule, he knows how to get up there and communicate and speak and make you buy in, but he is so great at it, and love listening to him. I thought you could just tell, though, how fired up he is about this team and just the confidence level that he has. And you saw it throughout the entire day with every stop that he did among the rounds of talking with all the different media across the country.
Just very polished, right? I mean, that statement right there was just, he worked in a nod to his new boss, Troy Dannon. He worked in a nod about the GPA, which that elicited a question later on in the press conference. We don't have that clip for you, but the fact that you got a team GPA over 3, you should brag about that a little bit. He talked about the sports success at Nebraska going on right now, and then it's now football's turn to kind of add to that. So just a really clean, kind of a perfectly laid out opening statement from the head coach. I mentioned in the opening segment of the program tonight that we've not heard from Coach in about 3 weeks. He did a presser right at the end of June before everybody went out on vacation. And with Husker football, there's never usually a dull day or week that goes by without some kind of news, and that's the case with the switch of the defensive backs coach, Evan Cooper, out and John Butler in. Here's Coach talking about the addition of Coach Butler now to the staff.
Well, John's a guy I've known a long time, and I think anytime that you can hire someone on your staff as a position coach who's been a coordinator, they come in with another set of eyes. I've had a chance to coach against John when I was at Temple. He was at Penn State. Obviously in the NFL, he was in Buffalo. Just think about in recruiting. For those guys who want to go to the NFL and they're talking to us, I've been in those draft rooms, but John's coached Micah Hyde. He's coached Jordan Poyer. He's coached top 5 secondaries. And so, it was unfortunate we had to change that late in the year, but we wouldn't have gotten John earlier. he was at a point where he was ready to get back in and start coaching. It just kind of so happened that I was on vacation at the beach about 2 towns away from where he was, so it was all pretty fortuitous. We sat down, and Tony White's one of the best coaches in college football. He's an amazing defensive coordinator. Terrence Knighton is an amazing defensive line coach. Rob Dvorak, excellent young linebacker coach. I think John will bring some experience, a second set of eyes, and a guy that the players can trust will make them better.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked a lot about the ties that Jeremiah has to Coach Butler and seeing firsthand being on the team up there in Buffalo, and he alluded to some of those things too. Not just that he coached those great defensive backs, but how much they developed and grew while Coach Butler was coaching them. But you are bringing in a guy to this staff, this defensive staff that, again, did a lot of great things last year. And you and I maybe have chatted about this over the last couple of weeks, but I was not concerned about adding a new voice because I just saw how quickly those guys meshed a year ago. And, when Tony White is such a great leader and they had the communication going at such an early, I think this will be a good fit, and he can slide right in there and be a great match with all of these guys that already have such a great rapport and great chemistry, and really did so very quickly this time a year ago.
Perfect hire, perfect timing for it all as well. Like Coach said, he goes, if we had to do this several months ago, we probably wouldn't have gotten John. So the timing is, we have a request in to talk to Coach Butler, so hopefully we can get that done maybe early in camp before they get too deep into it. And let's be honest, that group's going to need some massaging. I mean, you've got a couple of guys back that you feel good about, but there's going to be a lot of competition, and kind of having a fresh face in the room that hasn't seen these guys and doesn't have much of a history, he might have a really kind of unbiased look at what to do with that defensive backfield. All right, I think we all anticipate the offense to change some this year, provided that, Dillon is the starting quarterback and coach is not ready to announce that yet. But I do think Nebraska knows they need to throw the football more this year than they were able to do last year, and at a higher success rate than they did last year. The coach was asked about how has his offense and how is it going to evolve here in year 2.
Yeah, I thought last year, we played 3 quarterbacks. I think when you go back and look at a lot of things that happened, a lot of guys did do a lot of good things. It's obviously overshadowed with numbers like you said. But, Marcus is a coach that I trust and believe in. We brought in Glenn Thomas to be the quarterback's coach, who we have a lot of history, the 3 of us together. And we have a lot of skill. One of the things that happened to us last year is, a bunch of our receivers we were counting on early got hurt. 2 of our tailbacks got hurt. A couple of linemen got hurt. And in the midst of that adversity, I'm always looking for, hey, how do we get better? And we put the Jalen Lloyds in, the Malachi Colemans, young players. And by the end of the year, Jalen and Malachi were good players. So now we enter year 2, and those guys are a year older. Instead of redshirting, they now know what to expect. We have depth at receiver. We have depth in the running back room. We went out and recruited some really good players. We brought some guys in the portal like Isaiah Nayor and Jamal Banks. So we have a deep receiver room, and we have a deep running back room. We have a veteran offensive line, and we have 3 quarterbacks that we know can play. And so I expect us to be great on defense, and I expect us to make a real jump on offense.
Yeah, I think that's been the consensus. I mean, even going back to spring and when you start taking in practices, even just seeing how much Heinrich Haarberg grew from getting thrown into the fire a year ago to how much he grew playing, getting that experience, and then the work that he put in leading up to spring ball. And Danny Kaelin is, there's a reason why he was one of the top rated quarterbacks in this class as well. So there's, when you have the elevated expectations for the quarterback, certainly that elevates your overall expectations for an offense. But you and I have said this a lot on this program over the last few weeks. There's no doubt in our minds that the room, the wide receiver room, has taken it up a notch. I think there's some really, really, really elite talent in that room. There's lots of it. And so, yeah, when you've got some talented playmakers to throw the ball around to, with some guys that can get on the ball, and then going back to that veteran offensive line that can protect those guys, it's just, you just got to expect tremendous improvement going into this season.
Can't wait to watch Banks and Nayor as they make their way through the season, the 2 transfers that Nebraska picked up for that room. All right, one of the numbers that hangs around the neck of Husker football is minus 17. That was the turnover margin last year. Minus 17 should equate to about a 2-10 record. So the fact that Nebraska went 5-7 with a negative 17 turnover margin is really remarkable. They could have pushed that thing in half, maybe minus 8. Nebraska definitely would have gone to a bowl game. Might have won about 8 games last year. So how do you fix it? How do you fix the turnover margin, which has been a problem for the program, predating Matt Rhule, I should say. The coach was asked that very question today.
It's a blemish. You know, it's nothing I've ever done before to be minus 17, right? And we gave the ball away 31 times. We only took it away 14, so both sides have onus. But to give the ball away 31 times, and our season would have been different had that not happened. The great news is then when you look back at a season where we were 5-7, and with 2 games left, that we were still in the math to get to Indianapolis, and you have something that outrageous. You understand that, hey, if we just fix 1 or 2 things, we can be a really good team. We don't have to do an overhaul. We don't have to fire a bunch of coaches. We don't have to change the offense and defense. We really just have to win the turnover battle. And so I think anytime you want to seek change, the first thing you need is buy-in. I think by the end of the year, our players truly understood that, man, we have to protect the football and we have to take it away. We've practiced it. The thing that I've tried to do is, and I want to be a lifelong learner. I'm in Texas this past week at coaching clinics, and I'm sitting listening to coaches talk, high school coaches, college coaches, about the way they're doing things, because we have to find a way to go from minus 17 to plus 7. We have to find a way to get that done, and so we're going to practice it. We're going to coach it. We're going to, allocate playing time based upon who protects the ball, but also who takes it away. And but I think the buy-in came from our players early on. They recognize we need to do this because we have a really good football team. And you know what? If you turn the ball over 3 times, you're probably going to have a close loss. The close losses at Nebraska are not an affliction. It's, we don't need to get out a voodoo doll. We need to hold the ball properly and knock it out, make 1 more catch, have a little bit more confidence, and go make 1 more play and win a couple games, and all of a sudden we'll be talking in a different tone.
I think that was the number 1 question that they were asked, Coach Rhule and the 3 guys all day. It seemed like every interview they went to, they were asked about that. I'll say this, for as much as people want to point to the offensive turnovers and not taking care of the football, the conversations that I've had with the defensive players, even going back to last season, throughout spring, the conversations we've had in the summer, they put it just as much on them. Hey, we didn't get our turnover margin. We didn't take it away enough. We didn't give our offense enough chances. We didn't put the entire team in better positions by getting those takeaways. So, I know that from the outside looking in, it's like, oh, if we just take care of the football, maybe you win a game. But also, I think for the defense, they are taking just as much responsibility as the offense of trying to fix that number and improve that number going into this season.
It's a great point because it only took away 14 turnovers. You played 12 games, so you only took it away 1.1 per game. That's not enough. You need to be able to take the ball away 3-4 times, a couple times during the season. So, yeah, I'm glad the defense feels that way because you need them to up their game as well. Well, okay, Matt Rhule got the question about, okay, you've added 4 new teams, some really good ones to the league. How does that hinder the challenge of trying to turn your program around?
Yeah, I think you can tell when a team is ready to make the turn in their body language, in the way that they walk around the building. It's just confidence. For young people nowadays, there's nothing more than confidence. There's such a fear of failure because everything's evaluated. And I think when I walk through our locker rooms and I walk through our weight rooms and I walk out in the field, I see a confident team. I see a team that understands that games are going to come down to the final seconds, and the narrative about close losses, we're going to turn that into close wins. In terms of the teams coming in from the West Coast, I don't want to speak for them. I do know that travel and weather are going to be real things in this new Big Ten. Having to play and then travel maybe 5 or 6 hours and then play again the next week. Those are all things that the best minds will find the best solutions to. And so we're trying to model everything out as we go. You might play 1 week and it might be 85 degrees, and you might play the next week up in Madison, Wisconsin, and it might be really, really, really cold. And so all of us have our own challenges. I'm kind of focused on ours, but I do know this. Deshaun Foster was a player when I was a GA. Lincoln Riley's one of my great friends in coaching. I've coached against him multiple times. I have a lot of respect for the University of Washington. I think Dan Lanning's a great coach, so I think it's only made the conference better.
I do, go back to what he said, because it is. You got to think that Nebraska, being in the middle, has a little bit more of an advantage in the travel regards than the ones on either side of the coast, it's not as much of an adjustment, I guess.
Our longest flights are going to be 3 hours each way. Iowa would be in the similar boat, Minnesota, Wisconsin, all of us right here in this part of the country. I just can't imagine having to fly maybe back to the East Coast or from the East Coast to the West Coast 2 or 3 times during the season, and a couple teams have to do that. Kind of finishing off with Coach Rhule, he was asked about the league, the depth of the Big Ten Conference with the addition of those 4, and we'll wrap up his press conference with this clip.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. Like I laugh with Troy sometimes. Like if Haven Fields, our sport administrator, would have said, "Hey, I want to add USC and UCLA to the non-con," and I'd have thrown a fit. Like, I'm not playing those guys. Well, here they are. So I think when you look at the Big Ten, playing 9 conference games. More importantly, playing 5 road conference games. Not every conference plays 5 roads. Most of them, some of the 8-team leagues, they play 4 road games, and sometimes one's like a neutral site, so they play 3 where you have to go into someone else's stadium. We have to, in the Big Ten, we have to go into someone else's stadium in our league 5 times and duke it out. So, but I think we'll have a lot of access to the college football playoff, and I think 4 teams from this league should get in every year, because this is the best league. This is the NFL of college football on my mind. It stretches from coast to coast, different time zones, different weather. That's not to diminish any other league. The SEC is amazing. These other leagues are great, but the challenge in the Big Ten is going to be really difficult. Travel, weather, and great teams. For us, we think every game's a big game because we're playing in it, and you didn't come to Nebraska because you wanted to play an FCS slate. You came here because you want the challenge of. We get to go to the Coliseum and play football. How lucky are we? And so that's why you come to Nebraska. That's why in recruiting, like, competitiveness is like my number 1 trait, because I want guys who want to prove it on the field, not anywhere else.
That clip obviously got a lot of play nationally because he basically said the Big Ten's the best league, and obviously all the SEC people, the Paul Feinbaums of the world, were up in arms by that quote from Matt Rhule. So those are kind of the highlights of his stand at the big podium earlier today. Terrific stuff there from Coach Rhule. Woodhouse Auto Family, they are your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Go visit us online at woodhouse.com. All right, if you have some thoughts, text them, 402-413-2400. We're back with more of the show next.
Shop Woodhouse Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Blair and Bellevue during the Make This the Summer event going on right now. Browse our full lineup of SUVs, like the confident and spacious new Jeep Grand Cherokee L with 3rd-row seating, offering plenty of room for the entire family on your summer adventures. Visit one of our 2 convenient locations in Blair or Bellevue, or start your car buying journey online at WoodhouseCDJRBellevue.com or WoodhouseChryslerJeepDodge.com today. Serving our customers since 1991, this is Woodhouse.
Need parts fast? O'Reilly Auto Parts has fast. Need them now? We've got now. No matter what you need, we have thousands of professional parts people doing their part to make sure you have it. We're O'Reilly Fast. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Get ready to rule the field and revolutionize your farming game with Valley, the game changer in irrigation and ag tech solutions. With time and labor-saving measures, ground truthing results, and effective input reduction, Valley provides the perfect game plan so you stay ahead of what's in the field. From the best in irrigation and cutting-edge ag tech solutions to personalized support, Valley is your winning team. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. the official foundation company of the Huskers.
It's the Make It Ford Summer Sales Event at your Midwest Ford dealers. Get 0% financing or up to $4,250 bonus cash on F-150. Amazing offers and a great selection of the best-selling trucks in America for 47 years. Ford F-Series. These are the deals you've been waiting for, so don't wait. Make it Ford. Make it yours. Make it now. Get 0% financing for 36 months or up to $4,250 bonus cash on a new Ford F-150. Now, only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
A few drinks at home after work, a couple of hits at a party with some friends, over-the-counter drugs for a minor illness, a new daily prescription, and you're not quite sure how it makes you feel. It doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If it impairs you, driving becomes deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
At Woodhouse Chevy, we believe in the power of performance. Whether it's an adventure with the family or tackling the toughest jobs, Woodhouse Chevy has you covered. Woodhouse Chevy offers many models to choose from and amazing features like wireless Apple CarPlay, lane keep assist with lane departure warning, front pedestrian braking, and so much more. Woodhouse Chevy brings you 2 convenient locations in Omaha and Missouri Valley. Together, let's drive with Woodhouse Chevy.
Husker fans, check out the all-new Hy-Vee Perks program. Get signed up for the totally free Hy-Vee Perks program and enjoy exclusive perks pricing on hundreds of in-store items and online. Go get score of those big savings today at Hy-Vee.com/perks. Hy-Vee, the official grocer partner of Husker Athletics and your one-stop shop for making your life easier, healthier, and happier. Visit your local Hy-Vee today. Isaac Gifford, Ben Scott, Ty Robinson. I did get a chance to watch them go on set with BTN. They did a good job. They looked good. They all cleaned up nicely. It looked like they were having fun with the day. I hope those guys did have a good time.
Yeah, I thought the one when they were on set, I didn't think they got very many like in-depth football questions. It was all kind of funny, ha ha. Less about the team or anything. It was just a little goofy for me, especially compared to some of the other player interviews. I thought some of them did some really in-depth diving in, understanding the team a little bit better. I was just hoping for a little bit more out of that set because that's what we're getting the chance to watch. But it was fun. Those guys, they absolutely did a great job, which not surprising. You knew that they would.
It was late in the day. That might have been part of it. They might have been going, we're talked out, and even the host might have been going, I'm tired of doing this. We've been doing this for 5 hours. But, yeah, they asked them about their Olympic sports, if you could compete in one. I think Isaac said tennis. Ben Scott said diving. That was awesome. Love that answer.
Yes, he did. And, they were just kind of asking about their backgrounds and stuff. So, I guess Ty Robinson's learning the harmonica. And
what is that?
They were asking Ben Scott about surfing. So, it was all kinds of random facts to take it away from that 10-minute segment.
Yeah, but they're probably back in Lincoln now. They're probably exhausted.
Hey, here's a thought. Maybe we could have Ty do the opening theme song on his harmonica for, like, the game countdown to kickoff or, like, the pregame show or something like that.
Love it. See if he's up for doing that. That'd be fun. Yeah.
NIL deal, Ty.
There you go. Yeah. Hey, Woodhouse Auto family, they are your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Go visit us online at woodhouse.com. 402-413-2400. We're back to wrap up hour 1 next.
It's the Make It Ford Summer Sales Event at your Midwest Ford dealers. Get 0% financing or up to $4,250 bonus cash on F-150. Amazing offers and a great selection of the best-selling trucks in America for 47 years. Ford F-Series. These are the deals you've been waiting for, so don't wait. Make it Ford. Make it yours. Make it now. Get 0% financing for 36 months or up to $4,250 bonus cash on a new Ford F-150. Now, only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Husker fans, get ready for another thrilling season at Hibner Stadium with the reigning Big Ten champion Nebraska soccer team. Season tickets for the 2024 season are on sale now. Don't miss your chance to support the Huskers as they go head-to-head with some of the top teams in the country, including Oklahoma State, Penn State, and Duke. Get your tickets today at huskers.com/tickets or call 1-800-8-BIG-RED.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
For farmers, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. And at Valley, we feel the same, delivering game-changing technology and irrigation solutions that advance agricultural productivity, with the results to prove it. From our leading irrigation technology to expert advice, you can always rely on Valley to bring out the best in your farm. At Valley, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
Farming today is a combination of hard work, innovation, and partnerships to help keep us moving forward. Sapp Brothers Petroleum has provided us with fuel, propane, and lubricants on the farm for many years.
For over 52 years, Sapp Brothers has been a reliable partner to thousands of farmers across our great state. We work hard to make sure our customers have the most reliable supply, provided in the safest manner and at the most competitive price. Trust Sapp Brothers Petroleum to protect your equipment and keep your farm fueled. Sapp Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics and to serve Nebraska farmers and Husker fans across America's heartland.
Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Akrs. They're the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody. Final few minutes of hour number one. A couple of texts. Sam in Omaha wants to know if Coach Rhule was asked about Deion or Colorado. I'm sure he was. Sam, the players got asked on that desk with the BTN reporter, and they just said, oh, it's going to be a big game. The stadium's going to be electric, and they said the right things. And I'm guessing Coach probably got asked about it at some point in time today, but did not.
I guarantee you, because all of the networks would have been there. So NBC, which is the channel that the game will be on, probably had a separate location that they did a lot of the hype stuff that they'll probably run leading up to it and teasing it. So there's a lot of different locations and that spin off of the main stage that I'm sure there's no doubt he got asked about it.
Yeah. Fox has the opener with UTEP. NBC's got the Colorado game. We're on BTN for Northern Iowa, and then back to Big Fox for the Friday game with Illinois to start the year. Doug in Norfolk on the text line said, we talked about Carter Nelson getting moved to wide receiver. He goes, he's got really good speed, ran like a 22.5 in the 200 this spring. Plus, he goes, he's not very heavy right now, probably only 200 pounds. I'm sure that factored into it and why the position move to wide receiver. And hey, I'm not going to question that at all. I know Nebraska really appreciates Nelson's ability, and they want to try to find some way to get him on the field so that he can help this football team out. I think eventually he probably grows to a tight end's body, but maybe right now it's a better fit for him. So, hey, I'm trusting the coaches on that one.
Yeah, he's an elite playmaker. Give him a chance to play right away, and he can grow into that tight end position where there's a lot you got to do. And he's played small school football, but he played a lot of different sports, and so and got here in the summer, was not here in the spring. So give him a chance, just even at his size right now, to potentially get on the field with what he can do with the football, and then he can grow into that throughout the years. And again, going back to that four-game redshirt rule, it's just so great for, especially like in a situation like this too.
Love that. Hour one was fast. We're back with hour two. Damon Benning to join us in hour two. Come on back.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts. It's the Make It Ford Summer Sales Event at your Midwest Ford dealers. Get 0% financing or up to $4,250 bonus cash on F-150. Amazing offers and a great selection of the best-selling trucks in America for 47 years. Ford F-Series. These are the deals you've been waiting for, so don't wait. Make it Ford. Make it yours. Make it now. Get 0% financing for 36 months or up to $4,250 bonus cash on a new Ford F-150. Now, only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rhule is bringing innovation and high performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
Good evening. I'm Camden Cohn, and this is our Sports Ticker. Earlier today, Nebraska football head coach Matt Rhule spoke to the media about a slew of different topics at Big Ten Football Media Days. One of the topics that he addressed was what advice he wished he would have taken last season.
Well, one of the things about being at Nebraska, you do get a lot of advice. I mean, Coach Osborne's there all the time to help. Coach Solich is there to help. Coach Osborne tried to warn me about the weather. He tried to warn me about the wind, and I heard it, but I didn't. It was until it was like 30 miles an hour in my face that I was like, oh, Coach Osborne wasn't lying. I think the biggest thing I regret from last year was when you're in pro football, it's kind of quiet. And there aren't bands and things like that. The crowd isn't. And we started our first 2 games last year on the road in hostile environments. Minnesota, they did a great job. They had a gold out for their first game. And so just getting readjusted to the crowd noise and the passion of the fans in the Big Ten, the atmospheres we're going to have to go into, we have to be better on the road. And so I wish I would have taken that. I would have taken that to heart and gotten that advice.
The Nebraska women's tennis team added another addition to their team today as Emma Rossetto joins the squad from VCU. Rossetto will have 3 years of eligibility remaining and was named A10 Performer of the Week on 2 different occasions and tallied 14 wins in both singles and doubles. And finally, some Major League Baseball scores that are final from earlier today. The Pirates beat the Cardinals 5-0. The Brewers defeated the Cubs 3-2. The Twins bested the Phillies 5-4. The Reds beat the Braves 9-4. The Rockies defeated the Red Sox 20-7. The Astros beat the A's 8-1. And the Angels beat the Mariners 2-1. Hour 2 of Sports Nightly is up next, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium. It's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Heinrich gonna step in back, little G belly action as a man wide open. It's Jalen Lloyd. The throw, he makes a catch. 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Nebraska.
Nebraska serving specialist Kennedy sends it over Vasquez Gomez. Perfect pass, set it up. Fairbanks diving, take Laney Choboy. Bumps it left Nebraska. Harper and nearly drops. Free ball back. Oh, a block back by Becca, and that nearly drops. And a free ball finally over, block back by Becker, and it does. Becca Alec, she's putting on a blocking clinic. They can't get it over.
Bryce Williams puts his head down, cut off by good defense by Mbako. Now up top it comes to Mast. Mast dribbles once, gives it back to Williams, shoots a 3 on the way. Got it again! Another 3. Williams on fire.
Jazz Shelley, who has electrified this crowd. She'll take a 28-footer. You betcha! Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? She ends the first quarter in triple style.
Ball's out of strike here on Gabe Swanson, the pitch. Hit pretty well towards left center field. Going back on it is Graves. Graves at the wall, and it's gone again! Swanson's gone deep again! Gabe with his second solo shot of the game.
Billy swings and crushes this one to the moon. Left center and gone. No doubt on that one. 3-1 Nebraska.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
And we're back, hour number 2 here on our Wednesday show. Today was the day the Huskers were one of the teams taking center stage at the Big Ten Media Days in Indianapolis. We played you a lot of Matt Rhule's appearance in front of the big room in hour number 1. We're going to hear from Damon Benning coming up here in just a little bit. He is in Indy and took in all the goings-ons today. So we'll talk to DB coming up here in a couple of minutes. Also, if you have a thought you want to pass along, 402-413-2400. That is our text line. Lincoln Riley was one of the coaches there today. Jess, you know him fairly well. I thought he acquitted himself pretty well, and a lot of people pretty hyped about his new defensive coordinator and that, Lincoln's offense will score points if they can stop some people, that they could be a dangerous football team this year.
Yeah, and I think he made a lot of the moves that he needed to make and probably should have made maybe a year earlier, but the defensive coordinator, which he talked about, was at UCLA, and they had done one of the best defensive turnarounds in a year. And so, if they can just make a couple stops, a lot of times Lincoln Riley's offense puts up enough points to win a lot of football games. So It's crazy. It feels like he's been there longer than just entering his third season, but it's not like he's had awful seasons, but it's crazy how much he's talked about and how much people are questioning if they're even going to be any good this year. But they're going to be one of the best offenses in the country. It's just what he does and has proven it year in and year out. Even when he does replace quarterbacks like Caleb Williams, he's an offensive genius and is able to do that. So yeah, can they make the tweaks on defense? They don't even really have to be elite, but just, make some improvements, and that changes a lot of things for USC for sure.
Huskers will play out there in mid-November. Both teams will be coming off of a bye week. Boy, they've got a tough opener. They play LSU in Vegas. That'll be a heck of a game. That's Labor Day weekend. I believe that's a Sunday game. So Huskers open on Saturday with UTEP, and then USC plays LSU on Sunday. We played you in hour one the cringeworthy opening statement by UCLA head coach Deshaun Foster, and he got ridiculed. But I tell you what, Brandon Marcello on CBSSports.com has a really good piece that he put up a couple of within the last hour, talking about that he followed Deshaun Foster around the rest of the day and said that in a small setting with just a couple of reporters, the soft-spoken UCLA head coach was funny, refreshing, and authentic to himself, and that he was aware that his opening statement had garnered attention, saying, hey, I'll probably get on Twitter later. He should say X, but he said Twitter, and see some jokes about my opening statement. But Brandon Marcello humanizes Deshaun much more, and Foster went on to say, I'm not a rah-rah guy. You don't get any points for being rah-rah. I just play football, and so you kind of get what you get with me. And so fairness to him, because I did play that opening statement, I do want to point out that Brandon Marcello, who I really like, is a good writer, has got a nice piece up about Deshaun Foster and how soft-spoken and nice a man he is. I think Coach Rhule knows Deshaun a little bit and likes him as well. So there's your fair and balanced report there, Jess, for Deshaun Foster.
Look, he doesn't become a head coach at UCLA if he cannot handle himself and communicate well. And I mean, he had to go through the interview process, right? And so it just was probably one of those things it was first time, didn't really know what to expect, didn't really have anything prepared. You're up there, it's live TV, got a bunch of people watching you. And then, it just probably all unfolded that way. But I'm glad somebody wrote an article talking about him. I'm glad he can have fun with it, too. So, because you always hate to be that guy that ends up being the one that everybody's just playing how bad your opening statement is. But, hey, I took away something with Kirk Ferentz that he had said in his press conference up there, that he said, this is about as veteran as I can remember defensively. That's scary.
Yeah. They've got 10 starters back on defense. I mean, I said this last night. Husker fans aren't going to like this. They're going to be good. Iowa's going to be good, and if they can keep Cade McNamara healthy, and remember, he got hurt early last year, and then their backup quarterback just wasn't very good, Deacon Hill. Cade McNamara, and then they went and got the quarterback Brendan Sullivan from Northwestern as a backup. So they've got two semi-legit quarterbacks. New offensive coordinator. We'll see what kind of reins Kirk lets him have, but Iowa's going to have a good football team. That'll be a real battle for us on Black Friday when we go over there to see the Hawkeyes on a what I hope is not a frigid Friday night.
And it's the opposite. It's the opposite argument or point that we were making about USC. And if you could just improve a little bit defensively, you give yourself a better chance. Iowa, if they just improve a little bit offensively, then they're much more dangerous. So it's crazy, just the complete opposite situations that both those programs are in. But hey, just get a little bit better on the other side of the ball, and things look a lot differently for both those programs.
Hawkeyes went 10-4 last year. They lost the championship game to Michigan, and then they lost their bowl game. In fact, they did not score a point in either the Big Ten championship game or their bowl game. So their last point score was against the Huskers on the Black Friday game. So we'll see how the Hawkeyes are this year. You shared with me, we talked last night about John Cook commenting about Harper Murray. The courts rendered a decision on her DUI fine. Her license has been suspended. She has to do some community work. She put out a pretty heartfelt social media post today that you shared with me that she kind of opened herself up a little bit about some struggles that she's going through and that she feels bad about the last year. I think there's some real self-reflection going on with Harper now, don't you?
Yeah, I think so. And I think immediately this staff, coaching staff and support staff, Lindsey Peterson, they whatever they could do to help get her to where she needs to be to work through some of the things that she needed to work through, because she alluded to, working through some of her mental health struggles and wanting to eventually share that story and hopefully helping others navigate certain or other similar struggles that she has been through, but, wanted to, again, apologize for putting her teammates and the ones that she cares about the most in the situation, but wants to be better for it. And, that's all you can ask for, is that when someone makes a mistake, which we all do, we all make mistakes, you own it, you learn from it, you get better for it. And it sounds like that she's taking all the steps to be able to, improve and learn and be better from those situations. It just, most of us don't have the kind of public eye that the players like Harper Murray and really a lot of the student athletes here on campus have, that you've got to navigate that while the world is watching. But I have full faith that she will do what she needs to do, and that the thing that they need to do to help her through it too.
Yeah, and that's the key. The program, led by John Cook, they're not going to just abandon her. They're going to wrap their arms around her, guide her, give her advice, love her, tell her that, you screwed up, but we're going to be here and have your back. You've got to make some amends. You've got to take some steps on this. Part of this has got to be on you. And I think we're seeing that evolve as we get toward late summer. And, I know there'll be some naysayers. Well, it's just because she's about to start the season and she knows she needs to do this. I'm not hanging with that. I think that this has been a process for the last 3 or 4 months with John Cook, with all the assistant coaches, with Lindsey, that they've been working with her, I think, pretty much on a daily basis to try to get her back on track. Yeah, and probably is facing some sort of internal punishments. We hear that a lot of times, that coaches don't address, hey, these are some of the things that some of the benchmarks that they had to meet to be able to have the playing time. And so there's a lot of things behind the scenes that we might never know about that she's had to do to be able to address, to get back into the good graces and have the full opportunities moving forward. But, they're going to help her along the way. And that's going to be a competition. That's going to be a group that's going to be highly competitive come, 2 weeks? When do they start? When's the official date for volleyball? 5th, August 5th, so a week from this coming Monday. So 12 days they're out. In fact, then they're going to have to, a couple of them are going to head to Chicago for the Big Ten Media Days on the 6th. So they'll have like a practice, jump on a private plane, get to Chicago. Kennedy Orr and Lindsey Krause are going to be the ones going to represent Nebraska, along with head coach John Cook for that. Red-white scrimmage the 24th. Their first game will be in Louisville on Tuesday the 27th. And then they'll be home on the 30th for their first home match of the year. It's fast approaching. Soccer, speaking of the 5th, volleyball opens practice on the 5th. Soccer will have an exhibition match at Hibner Stadium on the 5th. And Husker football, now that the media days are behind them, they report on the 30th with the first practice on the 31st. So it is here. Love it. And how about this? I looked ahead to the extended forecast for the 31st, first day of what people call fall camp. I have a hard time saying that when we're in the middle of summer. It might be 100 degrees that day. So the football team's going to be roasting out there for our first couple practice sessions. But I have a feeling the coach is going to be, that's okay, let's toughen them up a little bit here.
Yeah, nothing like a good old heat to get extra conditioned and work out in that. But nothing that most of these players have not been used to. This is what comes along with practicing in the first week of August. Really, a lot of places that most of the players here that have played here, I think last year there might have been some cooler days, but most of the players that have been here have experienced the kind of heat that can come with these first couple weeks of fall camp. And yeah, you never know that there's some hot days and potentially some hot games at the beginning of the season that you want to be ready for.
No doubt. And you want to be prepared for all that. Let me see if my little weather app is saying Wednesday 99, Thursday 101. So it's going to be nice and warm. Our friend, the big dog, he's a known sweater. he would have lost probably 20 pounds from being out there in 99-degree heat. But
Yeah,
they will go in the mornings. They'll get it done before noon, so they'll get some of this done before it gets real, real hot.
But that's the key, and we've talked to Kristen Coggin about this, a lot of the folks that are involved with the nutrition staff, that you work so hard to put on some of this weight, some of this muscle, and then when you go to camp, it is really hard to maintain it, and you got to work really, really hard at it to stay where you want to be. You don't want to eat. You're hot. You've got all this stuff going on, but it's definitely a priority for the staff to make sure that they are maintaining and keeping guys where they absolutely need to be, because it is real easy to drop some weight real quickly over these first couple of weeks.
Soccer's been known to do these hydration breaks in some of their matches when it's really hot out. I think that's a good idea. In fact, I was watching the U.S. women's national team. They had a friendly last week, and they had a hydration break. Wherever they were playing, Charlotte or somewhere, it was really hot, and so they took some breaks even at that level. Hey, we're 2 days away from opening ceremonies. You ready? I'm pumped for this. Let's get this going.
I'm ready. I was going to ask you, which sport are you most excited about going into
Race walking.
Sorry, what? Swimming?
Race walking.
Race walking? I thought you said swimming. Yes, you swing those hips. Yeah, that's an interesting sport.
I probably women's gym. I'm just fascinated by them, and I love watching their routines. That's probably my favorite. I ran track in high school, so I like the track events. You're more on the swimming side than I am, but I'll watch the soccer, the basketball. I mean, there's so many that I enjoy. I hope to catch a little bit of wrestling.
Golf?
There's just probably watch a little bit of the golf. Yeah. So there's just so much. What are there? 14 Husker athletes that'll be over there. That's awesome.
Yes.
Fantastic.
I think the competition, they start today, I think.
I think there were some things that happened today.
Yeah,
You're right.
today and tomorrow, I think, are the first days of the competition, but then the opening ceremonies are Friday, and then a lot of the big stuff gets started on Saturday. But it's already started, from what I understand. Hey, I saw this on TikTok, Greg. I know you're a big TikToker, but the surfing competition is not in France. They're in actually Tahiti, which is a French island, and so they're not staying in an Olympic village. They've got a cruise ship that they're staying on. But wow. It's really crazy. They're staying way far away. They're not even close to the Olympics, but they've got their own floating Olympic village, but it's a little bit nicer than what the Olympic village is.
Well, that makes sense. Paris is landlocked. There's a river that goes through Paris, but they're not near ocean. So to do some of those events, you got to go elsewhere. We talked a couple weeks ago about how Oklahoma City is going to host softball in 4 years when it's in Los Angeles. How about Salt Lake City today got awarded, or maybe it was yesterday, got awarded the 2034 Winter Olympic Games. Salt Lake hosted it 20-some years ago. But it's going to be back in Salt Lake City in 2034. That is fantastic. I would love to go attend that. I'm not a huge Winter Olympics guy, but I think that would be fun to go see some Winter Games in Salt Lake.
Yeah, I would too. I've got to figure out a way to get to the next Summer Olympics somehow, some way, and not just the Oklahoma City events. I was actually chatting with Coach Rhule about that the other day when she was in studio about it's awesome for Oklahoma City and the folks around here to get a chance to maybe go watch somewhere closer, but for the athletes, it's a little bit sad because they're not around all of the other Olympic festivities, so they don't get to go to the opening ceremonies and they don't get to participate in some of those things because they got to be here or wherever their competition is. So it's not the true, I guess, Olympic experience. But either way, I've got to find a way. I want to watch some kind of Olympics when they're here in LA, the next Summer Olympics.
No doubt. What's that, Camden? Oh, Damon Benning's going to join us. Okay, we're going to step aside, get a break in, come back. Damon Benning from Indianapolis, give us his thoughts about day 2 of Media Days. We'll talk some Husker football as well with DB. That's coming up next.
Farming today is a combination of hard work, innovation, and partnerships to help keep us moving forward. Sap Brothers Petroleum has provided us with fuel, propane, and lubricants on the farm for many years.
For over 52 years, Sap Brothers has been a reliable partner to thousands of farmers across our great state. We work hard to make sure our customers have the most reliable supply, provided in the safest manner and at the most competitive price. Trust Sap Brothers Petroleum to protect your equipment and keep your farm fueled. Sap Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics and to serve Nebraska farmers and Husker fans across America's heartland.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rhule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
It's the Make It Ford Summer Sales Event at your Midwest Ford dealers. Get 0% financing or up to $4,250 bonus cash on F-150. Amazing offers and a great selection of the best-selling trucks in America for 47 years. Ford F-Series. These are the deals you've been waiting for, so don't wait. Make it Ford. Make it yours. Make it now. Get 0% financing for 36 months or up to $4,250 bonus cash on a new Ford F-150. Now, only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Farming today is a combination of hard work, innovation, and partnerships to help keep us moving forward. Sap Brothers Petroleum has provided us with fuel, propane, and lubricants on the farm for many years.
For over 52 years, Sap Brothers has been a reliable partner to thousands of farmers across our great state. We work hard to make sure our customers have the most reliable supply, provided in the safest manner and at the most competitive price. Trust Sap Brothers Petroleum to protect your equipment and keep your farm fueled. Sap Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics and to serve Nebraska farmers and Husker fans across America's heartland.
Get ready to rule the field and revolutionize your farming game with Valley, the game changer in irrigation and ag tech solutions. With time and labor-saving measures, ground truthing results, and effective input reduction, Valley provides the perfect game plan so you stay ahead of what's in the field. From the best in irrigation and cutting-edge ag tech solutions to personalized support, Valley is your winning team. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
Hi, I'm a baseball umpire. My job can get pretty stressful. I have to keep my eyes open at all times, and if I don't make the right call, people boo me. So to relax, I visit a Nebraska lottery retailer like this one and buy some scratch tickets. It always calms me down. Hey, you cut in line.
I did not.
All right, you're out of here.
Hey, he didn't cut.
All right, you're out of here.
I feel better already.
The Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
Ford SUV season sales event is here at Woodhouse Ford, and it's the perfect time to find a new Ford SUV for all your summer adventures. Woodhouse Ford offers many models to choose from and amazing features like the Ford Copilot 360, Ford Blue Cruise, Sync 4 infotainment system with Apple CarPlay, and so much more. Go and visit Woodhouse Ford at any one of our 3 convenient locations in Omaha, Blair, and Plattsmouth.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Akrs. They are the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs solutions for every field. Well, 2 of the 3 days of the Big Ten Media Days are in the books. Damon Benning was there today, soaking it all up from Indianapolis. But you told me you were a little lonely. I wasn't there. Jess wasn't there. We kind of bailed on you.
I feel like I don't have any friends. Radio Row was I didn't have anybody to give me any good picks. I didn't get any high chews. Nothing. It's just like I feel like I'm on my own.
Well, what was kind of the feel today? Today you had the 2 Southern California schools, so they got some headlines because it's the first time they've been to Indy for this. I mean, did they kind of grab some of the headlines today?
Yeah, it was interesting. I think Coach Foster maybe a little bit to the negative. You know, he had I think he was nervous. You know, It's his first time in the conference, and he went first. He was at 11:30, and he reminded us that UCLA is in, Los Angeles, and it was a little awkward. So that was kind of a shaky start. And the thing about Lincoln Riley, and I think people kind of associate this with Dan Lanning because he'll say some things that aren't always towing the company line. You know, he'll push the envelope a little bit. But Lincoln Riley probably has the most potential to be the guy that I think this fan base in Nebraska will have the hardest time accepting. I wouldn't call him defensive, but he's very aware of what's being said around the program, about the program, and I think he's ready to take that head on.
Had a new head coach there today. We don't play Michigan State, but Jonathan Smith made his first Big Ten appearance today. What's your initial thought on that hire for Sparty?
So I think that's a fantastic hire. And Sharpe, I think the national media forgot that that's where Jonathan Smith landed. You know, he's one of the guys that made it through that 2018 kind of coaching chopping block where they had all the hires and it was star-studded. And, you know, he had the most success at Oregon State. And quietly, I think it's a really, really good hire. It's a program that's kind of built with his personality. They fly below the radar. I think he'll be a good enough recruiter. He's got good discipline. They run the football. They were efficient in the red zone. If he can replicate some of those things in East Lansing, he'll give them every opportunity because I do think he's a really good coach. And I think the rest of the country forgot that Michigan State got a good one.
Yeah, and it may take some time. I don't think they're going to do much this year. Schedule's pretty hard against them. And then you had the two old dogs in the league, Kirk Ferentz, the dean of all coaches in this league, and then James Franklin, quietly now in year 11 at Penn State. How much Kirk was, my sense watching it on TV, Damon, was that he was uncomfortable talking about the new OC. I mean, obviously, Brian, he had to fire his son, or his son got fired from Iowa. What was your take on how Kirk handled today?
You're spot on. Yeah, you're spot on. And because you remember last year when we talked, we kind of looked at each other and we're like, man, he must know something we don't know. I think he likes this football team last year. And I think this year, while they will be very formidable, especially defensively, he was not as – because I actually think he's really good with the media. I think he sometimes can get a bad rap because he can be a little dry, but I like him. I think he's honest. I think he's authentic. But this year, I don't know if he was playing coy or he was uncomfortable, but anytime the conversation about offense came up, he wasn't the same kind of free-flowing Coach Ferentz that I'm used to.
James Franklin needs to win a big game, doesn't he, Damon? I mean, he kind of wins all the ones he's supposed to, but he's not knocked down that big wall yet. What's your feel on Penn State, again, a team we do not play this fall?
He was in an unusually good mood. You know how sometimes he can be a little surly and a little snarky. I felt like he feels like this team is pretty good. You know, he talked about the offense and their ability to take care of the football. I still think they got to make some plays down the field where they catch the football, not just not turn it over. But I know he likes his defense. He probably had the most, I guess I would say, brash dress bunch that he brought with him. So you can tell it's a confident team. But you're right, 7-2 in the Big Ten the last 2 years, which, listen, we would gladly take that every day that ends in Y. But for them, with the elusive victories between with Michigan and Ohio State, it hasn't been good enough in Happy Valley. But guy wins a lot of football games for as maligned as he is.
And then the Huskers. And I thought Matt Rhule was kind of right on what we have come accustomed to. I thought he was really steady, not braggadocious at all, but there was kind of a quiet confidence, I think, about the coach today.
Isn't that interesting? Because he's been like that the last couple of months. I think he really likes his football team. But you know what, Sharpe? A lot of it I think it has to do with he wants his guys to understand that they're pretty good. He wants to eliminate all doubt. Really promote that sense of self-belief because they paid a price. They've had a tremendous offseason. I think you'll love the body types. Their ability to work, their work output is at a high level. Their OTAs have been nothing short of fantastic. So I think he feels good about that. I think he thinks they're due. He loves this offense. And you know what? He said something interesting. He said this is the most difficult time that he's had choosing who to represent his Big Ten media days. He said there's about 9 or 10 guys he could have taken. He kind of laid out why he took the 3 guys he did. They were fantastic on Radio Row, Giff especially. He dropped a few expletives, but that's in typical Ike Gifford fashion. But, he took some time to talk about some guys that have paid the price. You saw in the recent Chasing 3 where they got into a guy that he has a really strong affinity for in Jamari Butler and Tommy Hill and some of the things that they've had to endure. He's very cognizant of wanting to reward and showcase guys that he thinks really embody Nebraska and what he wants this culture to be about. So this was not an easy year for him in terms of choices.
Damon Benning with us from Indianapolis. Day 2 of Media Day in the books. Today was the Huskers Day, so tomorrow it'll wrap up with 6 new teams. Well, we haven't heard from the coach, Damon, in about 3 weeks, and as always, things happen around Husker football every single day, and one of those was the change of the defensive backfield coach. He talked glowingly about Coach Butler, his addition to the staff. He did not really shed any more light on the departure of Coach Cooper, but boy, it seems like he is a huge fan of Coach Butler.
Yeah, he's got a good past relationship with him, and just asking the guys that I know that are in the NFL and that have had experience with him, I think it might be right on time to compliment what's going on in that DB room. They're young, it's confident, you have some experience, which will mesh with the young guys, and he's pretty buttoned up. He's going to take his time, he's going to feel out the media, he's just going to mind his own business, and he's no nonsense. I've heard this several times. Happen to be close to a couple of guys that are in that DB room where there's just no real wiggle room for foolishness. And I think for him, a new set of eyes is really, really good timing because the standard is the standard. He doesn't have to think to himself, well, boy, this guy's come a long way, or, he started out as a 4, now he's a 7, or, whatever. The barometer that he wants to set in that room is his own because it is brand spanking new. The dry erase board was perfectly clean. So some guys will have new life. Some guys won't have as much grace. But I think for the most part, if you're going to make a transition at this point in the season when they did, you want to come out with a guy like John Butler.
Damon, there was a couple little nuggets of news. I want to start with one with Carter Nelson, the outstanding Mr. Nebraska from last year in every sport that he competed in. Not going to start at tight end, but in the wide receiver room. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I think that's about right. Quietly, I wondered the level of physicality, kind of the inline blocking. It's much different going from 8 to 11. Do I think it's a toughness issue? No, but I think technically and technique-wise and fundamentals, it's just night and day. He's a long, angular guy. I think it's easier to play early at the wide receiver spot than it is the tight end spot. But, it's not going to be easy. He's a playmaker. He can go get a ball, so he's going to have to kind of gear it up. He's faster than a regular inline tight end. I'm not sure about the top end speed as a wide receiver, and he's in a deep and talented bunch. So I do like the fact that they're interested in trying to find the quickest way to use him efficiently, which I think you have to do with some of these young guys that were so highly recruited, is you want it to pay dividends early because it sends a message to everybody else in recruiting land.
Yeah, no doubt. And yet with this transition, is he a guy that might be ticketed for that 4-game rule and save the shirt, or what do you think?
Yeah, I would lean that way right now. But listen, development happens at a variety of levels for people. I do think he's talented. He's got the opportunity to be a little different body type in that room. He doesn't really have a comp. There aren't a lot of guys like him in the room. Banks is not a burner. He's kind of a body guy, but he's got great hands and a ton of experience. So that kind of rules that comp out. With Nair, he's kind of got those long arms, but he doesn't run the way that Nayor does too. So I can't really give him that comp. So everybody else in that room, he's just a little bit different than. So we'll figure out if they can find a way to use him.
The other little news is Troy Dannon did confirm we're going to go grass at Memorial Stadium as early as 2026. As a player, what are your thoughts on that?
I'm all in. I love the way it smells. How giddy was I in East Lansing, right?
You were.
So I almost didn't get back to the booth in time, right? I'm taking pictures of the natural grass. I just wanted to smell it and touch it. I love it, and I think it's a great idea. And listen, they have one of the best agronomists right in their own backyard. She's nationally acclaimed. She's over there on East Campus. I mean, why not take advantage of experts? And they've done so much research and so many studies. And, Coach Rhule's a big data guy. He understands trends, and he wants to stay ahead of it. And I'm pretty excited.
All right. Coach was pretty guarded today when people were trying to press him about, are you ready to name your starting quarterback? He's not done that. I think we all know. We all feel like it's going to be Dylan in the end. Are you okay with the way he's slow playing this? And when do you think an announcement does come? Is it week 2 of camp, week 3? When do you think it happens?
I think it'll happen relatively early in camp. I mean, that August 3rd practice that will be for the 1890 fundraiser, people will be able to formulate their own opinions. I don't know if you can keep it under wraps that much longer. Although I do take him at his word. I think he likes the competition. And I think he knows that, especially with a guy like Harburg, he's not going anywhere from a competitive standpoint. He's going to continue to hunt. And I think it's important to empower him to know that, you can be rewarded from the fruits of your labor. So while I think it's clear-cut that Dylan is by far and away the most talented, I think he's also got the highest ceiling. I do think you want that group to remain as competitive as possible, but I would imagine he'll name that the starter fairly early.
I've had a handful of people, DB, that go, well, can we move Heinrich to a wide receiver? You can't do that, right? He's going to be probably the backup. You can't mess with him too much, right?
I agree with you. And remember, at this time last year, he was in a position battle with Jeff Sims, and what did we see him do in Minnesota? Well, he lined up in an H-back and he made a big play. So those kinds of things will come naturally to him, so you don't have to spend a lot of extra time away from the quarterback spot doing it. But you're 100% accurate. He's their backup quarterback, and that's where he needs to be.
Yeah, and hey, we know this is a physical league. You're one snap away from having to put the helmet on and get the communication device in your helmet.
Yeah, and love it or not, he's the only quarterback on the roster that has a Big Ten win under his belt.
Exactly, and all those starts that he got last year, which are so valuable. I'm surprised we've not heard more talk, not only at the Big Ten, but at the SEC last week, the Big 12, that we're not hearing more talk about the communication and the helmet stuff. I think that's a huge, huge change, and I know Nebraska's been utilized it a lot in the spring. I love this thing. I think this is going to be huge for the sport, don't you?
I do too, and I think we have high IQ guys in that room that can process quickly, that are quick blinkers, and so that communication device will be critical. And I think you bring up something that I think is loosely kind of tied to this. I think you'll see Nebraska's staff in game take some leaps from a year ago. Timeout situations, situational football, because it's not just the players that want to up their game and be better than a year ago. In-game adjustments and critical situations the coaches want to be better at as well, and I think the communication devices will play a pivotal role.
All right. Usually when I'm with you at media days, I'm dropping some knowledge on you, some predictions. I'm going to give you a couple. I'm going to give you one on the positive side and one on the negative side, and I don't know that I'm even that far out on the limb, but I'm going to tell you the Washington Huskies are going to go from playing for the national championship to not getting to a bowl game. How about that?
I agree with you. I am right there with you. I have them at 5 wins. I think they're going to struggle. That roster was gutted, and I love Coach Fish.
I do too.
I think, again, given the time frame, that's as good a hire as I think Washington could have made, but it's going to take some time. I watched how Michigan – now granted, I mean, Michigan was at an elite level along the interior, but I think that's just kind of a microcosm of what they're going to see week in, week out. And to be able to handle the rigor of the physicality – will be a difficult transition, in my opinion, for this Washington football team.
I also think Wisconsin struggles to get to a bowl game. And here's my positive one.
Oh, wow. They're kind of a dark horse darling.
Really?
I got no strong opinion on that, but boy, do I hope you're right.
Check that schedule out.
They got a young wide receiving core that I think is pretty good.
That schedule's brutal. I think the Rutgers Scarlet Knights could have an exceptional year for them.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I can't. Are they at 5.5?
6.5.
I think that's incredible. I think they get to 7 before we blink, and that's one of those games against Nebraska that you're going to be looking at maybe a little bit of a mirror image. Maybe not as dynamic outside the numbers as Nebraska potentially, but defensively and how they play and can squeeze the rock. Nebraska's going to have all they can handle in that one.
That'll be a fist fight. That game on October the 5th will be a fist fight.
Yeah.
It really will. All right, you coming home tomorrow? What's the plan for tomorrow?
I am. I won't get in until late and then turn around and start the show Friday morning, but won't be until late tomorrow night. So one more day, but I'm excited. I want to hear Coach Lanning and some of these guys and see if I can get a feel for how they feel about their teams.
Very good. DB, we appreciate it. Go enjoy the nightlife there in Indy.
You're the best. I appreciate you, Sharpie.
Damon Benning joining us from Indianapolis, the site of the Big Ten Media Days. Final day tomorrow. 6 more teams will get cranked up and talk about their upcoming seasons tomorrow. Woodhouse Auto Family is your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. All right, if you got some texts, some thoughts about Damon's appearance, 402-413-2400. More of the show coming up next.
Timmy, everybody. Great job. Next up for our 5th grade class recital, we have Samantha.
10 times better performance can make a big difference. Castrol Edge Motor Oil gives your engine 10 times better high-stress performance. Castrol Edge, better oil for maximum performance. Now through December 28th, Castrol Edge and Edge High Mileage Motor Oil are on rollback at Walmart.
Claim based on sequence 9 test under high-load conditions versus API SP test limits.
You're going to feel a puff of air.
Jong's Optometry has set their sights on staffing up.
Try the next line. Hey, Kim, can you tell our 2 o'clock we're running 15 behind? Sorry, we're a bit backed up today.
He needs an optometric technician to keep an eye on it all.
Where are the dilation drops?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rhule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
Experience luxury car buying like never before with Genesis of Southwest Omaha. Browse our full range of SUVs that combine power and versatility, like the 2024 Genesis GV80, packed with an array of safety and tech features that ensures confidence and comfort on every journey. Or explore our lineup of exceptional sedans that offer unparalleled elegance and sophistication. Get started online at southwestomahagenesis.com and shop our current offers happening right now, or visit our showroom at Village Point today.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Farming today is a combination of hard work, innovation, and partnerships to help keep us moving forward. Sapp Brothers Petroleum has provided us with fuel, propane, and lubricants on the farm for many years.
For over 52 years, Sapp Brothers has been a reliable partner to thousands of farmers across our great state. We work hard to make sure our customers have the most reliable supply, provided in the safest manner and at the most competitive price. Trust Sapp Brothers Petroleum to protect your equipment and keep your farm fueled. Sapp Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics and to serve Nebraska farmers and Husker fans across America's heartland.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks, foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
For farmers, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. And at Valley, we feel the same, delivering game-changing technology and irrigation solutions that advance agricultural productivity, with the results to prove it. From our leading irrigation technology to expert advice, you can always rely on Valley to bring out the best in your farm. At Valley, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
If problem gambling is burning up your money, there's a way out. Help is free and confidential for Nebraskans and their families. There's no judgment, just help. Visit lifeafterbet.com. Greg Sharpe back with you on a Wednesday night Sports Nightly here on the Huskers Radio Network. Great to chat with DB in Indianapolis, covering Big Ten Media Days. Crypto wants to know what my favorite part of working with Damon is. He's got an interesting and fun sense of humor, and we have a good time trying to zing each other without kind of the general public knowing it, so we do have some fun in the booth. Hadn't been that long, just a couple of years with Damon, but looking forward to being back in the booth with him again this year, August 31st for that one. Chuck on our text line said, in my opinion, USC is overrated. I think they struggle to go 6-6. New and questionable defense. Well, they're picked, sixth in the Big Ten. I think a lot of people probably would peg them at about 7-5, maybe 8-4, so 6-6 probably isn't too far off for SC. They got a killer schedule. They play some really good teams, including that Week 1 game with LSU in Las Vegas. Art in Los Angeles says, boy, Matt Rhule is great at the podium. I agree with Jessica. He is the best in the Big Ten. So just real smooth. And he is just fun to listen to, Coach. And sometimes I probably play too many of his clips here on Sports Nightly, but I'm fascinated, and I learn stuff every time I play stuff from Coach Rhule. So I guess I'm not going to apologize. I love listening to the head coach and his kind of insight on different things. So tomorrow, the last day of the Big Ten Media Days, the teams that will be in attendance tomorrow, Oregon, Washington, so the two Northwest newbies will be there tomorrow, Minnesota, Maryland, Indiana, and the defending national champion Michigan Wolverines, minus Jim Harbaugh is off to the NFL. He's now in camp with the Los Angeles Chargers. So that's your lineup tomorrow. Obviously, Oregon, who's being picked in most people's top 5. Michigan, the defending champs, they'll garner a lot of the headlines tomorrow. Also tomorrow, we will continue our position breakdowns. We're going to talk to Tony White, Husker defensive coordinator. We'll let him talk defense, but about the defensive backs, because not going to roll Coach Butler out there. He's barely got a chance to know the guys, so we'll let Tony White talk about the defensive backs, but we'll get some general defensive questions in for the Husker defensive coordinator tomorrow night. So we had E.J. Barthel last night, Tony White tomorrow. Still need to get to Coach Satterfield about the tight ends, Coach Thomas about the quarterbacks, and Coach Foley about special teams. We'll continue those position breakdowns headed your way tomorrow night. Woodhouse Auto Family, your trusted auto partner, 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Go visit us online at woodhouse.com. Text lines beeping a little bit. Keep them coming. 402-413-2400. We're back to wrap up tonight's show next.
When you switch and save with Progressive, you could use that money towards going to see your favorite team in the playoffs. Progressive cannot guarantee that you can go see your favorite team in the playoffs. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds on average, but we cannot guarantee that your favorite team will make the playoffs or even finish with a winning record. They could easily lose more than half their games and finish in the cellar because they stink badly and haven't made the playoffs in years. Savings? Very possible. Playoffs? Highly doubtful. Switch and see if you could save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance and Affiliates, not available in all states. We cannot be held liable for your favorite team's terrible and frankly embarrassing performances now or ever.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm broadcasting major Macy Byers with Campus News. Computer science student Luke Ferreter won a global competition for being the first to decode passages from an ancient scroll. Using advanced AI, Ferreter became the first in centuries to reveal words from a Greek scroll damaged in the eruption of Mount Vesuvius nearly 2,000 years ago. The Lincoln native earned a $700,000 cash prize and international recognition for his achievements.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Hi, I'm a baseball umpire. My job can get pretty stressful. I have to keep my eyes open at all times, and if I don't make the right call, people boo me. So to relax, I visit a Nebraska lottery retailer like this one and buy some scratch tickets. It always calms me down. Hey, you cut in line.
I did not.
All right, you're out of here.
Hey, he didn't cut.
All right, you're out of here.
I feel better already.
The Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
Hey, Mom. Yeah, I got in a crash. I'm okay. I was wearing my seatbelt.
People count on you to buckle up. Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Former Husker Matt Waldron in line to get a win tonight. The Padres all over the Nationals, 12-3. They're in the seventh. Matt gave up 3 in the first, but then hung zeros. He's still in the game. Might come out as they go to the seventh. He was in the 90 pitch count range, but could be another win in the big leagues for Matt Waldron tonight for the Cornhuskers. Did see that Brett Sears came to terms with the Atlanta Braves today. Josh Caron has signed his deal with the Mariners, headed off now to rookie ball for Josh Caron. And so also Husker that by the name of Robbie Bolin that Will Bolt signed back in November, played at Barton County Community College in Great Bend this year. He was a late addition to the Cape Cod League. And so Robbie Bolin, there's a name to keep an eye on, Husker baseball fans, for next year. Terrific outfielder. He got a late invite for the last couple of weeks of the Cape Cod League, which is the premier college baseball league. So that's a pretty good nod. Dylan Carey has been up there all summer playing. In fact, hit a home run the other night. Jalen Worthley was supposed to go, but Rob Childress thought maybe keep him closer to home, let him pitch closer to home, and keep an eye on J-Dub over the summer. But Robbie Bolin, B-O-L-I-N. Keep an eye on that name, Husker baseball fans. This is a guy right out of junior college, gets an invite to the Cape Cod League. It's going to be it's got to be something. Mentioned that we'll continue our position breakdowns tomorrow night. Tony White will talk DBs with him tomorrow night. Camden, you're going to have a guest with us tomorrow night. Another member of the Nebraska Athletics Hall of Fame, a shot putter from Great Britain, correct?
Yeah, I am. He was excellent to talk to. Carl Myerscough is his name, and he ended up throwing in the Olympics in 2012 for his native country of Great Britain. So kind of matched up nicely with the Paris Olympics starting now, I guess. So
good. Look forward to that. He's living in the United States, though, correct?
Yes, he's in California.
Okay, good. He threw for the Huskers 20 years ago is when he was in school as a Nebraska Cornhusker, but he was a part of that Nebraska Athletics Hall of Fame with some big names like Ndamukong Suh and Jordan Hooper and some of those people. So we'll look forward to having that interview headed your way tomorrow night. Thanks to DB for pushing away from some, I'm sure, luxurious dinner somewhere in Indianapolis to join us and talk about observations that he had today from Big Ten Media Days. Fun to listen to the Huskers on the podium, and seems to be a general consensus around the conference. Look out for Nebraska this fall. I hope everybody is right. Thanks to Camden for steering the ship for us tonight. Thanks to all of you for listening. We're back with another full 2 hours. Headed your way tomorrow night. Good night.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rhule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
Did I forget something?
No, just wanted to tell you I love you. Oh, don't forget to buckle up. Drive safe.
I will. Love you too.
Someone is counting on you to buckle up. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hi, I'm a baseball umpire. My job can get pretty stressful. I have to keep my eyes open at all times, and if I don't make the right call, people boo me. So to relax, I visit a Nebraska lottery retailer like this one and buy some scratch tickets. It always calms me down. Hey, you cut in line.
I did not.
All right, you're out of here.
Hey, he didn't cut.
All right, you're out of